Let me ask you this: you ever see those? Daytime TV is awful, and they've always got those things to scare old people. Those commercials, and so you get a lot of erectile dysfunction, a lot of adult diapers, but you also get home security systems.
Yeah,
and they show that would be ruffian, that street tough who's going to be like caught breaking into a residence. It's always white guy with ski mask. It's white guy with ski mask every time. I've never seen white guy with ski mask in real life. I don't think he exists, but he's the one who breaks into your house if you have a security system.
I love how white guy with ski mask 2 walks right up to the window in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
With a crowbar.
And it's always
in the middle of the day.
He's gonna break in with this mother and 2 children, like who were putting Legos together in there, and we say that, but every day I see a video on Reddit of some crazy person and that trying to break into a residence and getting gunned down. Did you see the one where the ex-boyfriend is trying to break into the girlfriend's house and the father's home? And he's like, get the fuck back. And we've got Ring doorbell footage, so it's right in the asshole's face. And he's just he starts with knocking, gets to pounding, gets to shoving and kicking, and now he's breaking the door in. And the father's warning, and then it's boom, 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 boom. And he's very dead.
If anybody has that link in our shared chat, I'm interested.
Did you see the one that was a couple months ago of that dude, obviously insane, with a knife knocking on the door, telling the woman he knows she's alone? I know you're alone.
What the fuck?
And so calm. You remember how calm he was, Kyle?
There's a subreddit that's nothing but these disturbing Ring doorbell
insane. Insane, some of the stuff on Ring. Yeah. But that guy really scared the fuck out of me. One, for how calm he was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
2, basically saying, he said something like, I know you're home. I just want to come in and stab you. He said something that calm.
Yeah.
It was fucking crazy.
Was it a random guy, or was there a history with them, or just some dude who showed up wanting to stab?
He walked away. I'm not sure. I don't think they had caught him by the time the video came out, but apparently it was just random. And it was the husband. The wife was inside, and the husband was talking to him on the Ring, like, "Get the fuck away from here." And the guy was like, "Look, I know you're in there. I just want to come in and stab you."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There are some actual crazy people out there.
They didn't catch that guy. They got to catch that guy.
I know.
That's not a situation where you go,
what city? What city?
You need to find the guy who's going around being like, what's your interest here? Oh, I'm here to stab you.
Oh, and
after I stab you, I'll probably grab a bite, maybe see a movie, but I'm going to stab you.
Have you all ever had your house broken into? I'm so curious. Have you, as an adult? Have you?
Mm-hmm. I was a teenager.
I never had.
I was like 17.
And were you guys home? It was your parents' house? What was the deal?
So my audience heard us a lot, but we got broken into almost every week. Like every weekend, the guy would come and take money from my mother's purse.
Same guy?
Yeah. At first, I thought it was my brother, and my brother thought it was me. Like that's just kind of where our heads went.
Yeah.
And we met privately, and we're like, dude, like the fuck? And I'm like, it's not me. He's like, yeah, it's not me either. And we kind of believed each other.
Mm-hmm.
And just they hit up my mother's purse. She would hit the ATM machine sort of on a regular basis to get her weekly money, and he would just take it. And so she used to hang her purse from a chair on the kitchen table. And then she started hiding it a little bit better, like, all right, we can't keep it there anymore. And before long, it's in like a kitchen cabinet. He's still finding it. It's in a kitchen drawer.
Wow.
And he, I guess, was just sort of ransacking the place and finding it.
But did you guys not change your locks?
It was really late at night. And no, we didn't change the locks. I used to sleep on the couch as a teenager too often. Don't judge me. And one time, my wallet was like 18 inches from me. And I woke up in the morning and it was emptied and tossed on one of the other couches. Yeah. So this guy was like reaching over my body practically.
That's so awful.
Opening my Velcro surfer wallet. Taking
How did you ever fall asleep on that couch ever again, dude? Are you kidding me?
I had night terrors for like.
Did they ever find him?
Decade. So what happened was one night, it was like 3 or 4 a.m. It was really late and I was awake, and I heard this creeping on the stairs. We had a basement with a door that led outside, and the stairs that led into the house were creaky. and it would just like creak, creak, creak. And like at first I was like, did I hear that? And I guess I tried to convince myself that I didn't. I tried to convince myself it wasn't happening. But sure enough, like it just kept happening. You know, there's a full set of stairs, 13 stairs. And I go over to the door and I see he's a grown man. I see his fingers wrapped around the door. I think he was pulling it closed again. Maybe he knew I was coming. I don't know. And I shut the door with his fingers and I open it real quick and I start screaming at him. Just
how old were you?
17. Yeah.
And how big were you when you were 17?
I was a really skinny 6-footer, something like that.
And I'm impressed that the first thing you did wasn't to call for your mom and dad.
No, they were asleep. And but my father did hear me yelling at him. When I opened the door and saw him, he was little. He was like 5'2". He was even skinnier than maybe I was, and I was really skinny.
White guy ski mask.
He was a light-skinned black guy with a Harlem Globetrotters hat on.
No ski shoes.
Was it Curly Neal? Is that the surprise of this?
I thought he had on like a blue golfer's hat.
Did he start spinning your wallet on his finger? He threw some confetti on you and ran away?
I'm less than 2 feet from him when I'm yelling at him. And he was stunned. He was just stunned when I started yelling at him. And then he fell backwards down the stairs. Like he didn't like turn around and run or anything. Just in shock, falls backwards. Cool. And I gave chase, right? I chased him into the basement. Then I was like, maybe I don't want to catch him. Maybe this is fine. And the police came and they had like canine dogs and all that sort of stuff. And I described like what he was wearing and the hat, and I got it wrong. The hat turned out to be left on the stairs from the fall. And it was a little eye-opening to me. Later on, they came and they thought they knew who he was. And I couldn't pick him out of a lineup. Like I didn't know. And I tried to cheat. I asked like the detective's right there. And he has a printout of mugshots for me to look at. And there's like 8 of them or something. Mm-hmm. So I'm putting my finger on him, doing like one of these deals.
Yeah, what do you think?
Maybe number 5.
Yes, yeah, you get it. But
if you were me, who would you pick?
Yeah.
This one looks like a troublemaker, huh?
Yeah. I was like, do you know who it is? And he's like, I think so. And I'm just like, but he didn't give me any hint. And in the end, I was just like,
you found the one clean cop on the force. Any other cop would have been like, was it this one? Yeah, that was
try that guy.
Yeah, he'd be like, hey, it's probably both of these guys though, right? No, I only saw one guy. Yeah, but this one was probably the lookout outside, right?
He was the getaway, right?
Probably. They don't even know each other.
He gives you eight photos. 7 of them are East Asian men. Like,
right.
Like, I think you're trying to guide me.
But I did read in the
bunch
paper
of photos.
later.
And one guy is circled in red.
Yeah,
I don't take your pick.
Yeah, I think they caught him. I read a guy in the paper who was convicted on like 29 counts of burglary, and he was that skinny because he was a drug addict and he was stealing money to buy drugs.
You don't say. That is
It's true. It's true.
So sneaky though.
That is his small stature probably helped him to be a very effective burglar.
Crazy high stealth skill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you, and the balls to keep going back to the same place.
Yeah. It turned out, so the way that our basement door was, the locking mechanism was almost like an interior one, like that little barrel lock you'd slide across. Mm-hmm. So if you wanted to lock it, you would have to like exit that door, go in through the front of the house, around there, down the stairs, lock it from the inside, and then repeat that process. So my brother, I guess he had tools or a moped or something like that downstairs and just never did it. So the downstairs basement door was always unlocked. Man. Even when we were like carefully checking all the other doors, that's how he was getting in.
You are one of the few kids ever who actually had the opportunity to home alone somebody.
Yeah.
We tried. I had
a can of paint?
maybe 4 friends over. and we did a
Oh, that would have been
stakeout.
best.
We did a stakeout. Our plan was to duct tape him to a chair and shave his head and shit like that.
Oh shit! There was a
And,
kidnapping. There was a kidnapping plot.
That was our dumbass teenage plan.
Let me ask
You were gonna 9 to 5 him?
I want to picture you. I want to be done your friends. Your friend group. It was probably pretty diverse, though. It wasn't 4 white guys going to jump a black guy, tie him up, and shave his head or anything, though, right?
Kyle, it would have been a corrective kidnapping.
Can you imagine the newspaper clipping after this?
Oh my god!
We were not able. Like, we were quiet for probably 5 minutes,
Can I
and then
tell
it
you
turned into a
something?
slumber party. And he just didn't come that night.
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine who got put under house arrest when we were in high school. And this guy, he got put under house arrest. He stole a motorcycle and led some cops some wild goose chase, caused a couple of the cruisers to crash.
Wow.
This is when we were senior in high school, right? This dude ended up being a sniper in the Marines. But so he gets house arrest. So me and my other friend, we want to go see him. And we're in Massachusetts, and it was winter. It was time of year where like 5:30 is dark. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And we walk up to his house, and it's pretty dark except for one muted light upstairs. But the front door is open. And I'm about to walk in, and my buddy goes, "No, don't walk in." So from outside, before we walk up the steps, he goes, "Greg, it's us." And a light turns on. He was just waiting for someone to break in. He was sitting in there with a gun. He was just waiting for someone to break in.
It was a bait house. He left the door open.
As a senior in high school, he was like, I was like, "What are you doing, dude?" He was like, "I'm bored. I'm under house arrest." I'm like, "So you thought you'd set up a trap to shoot somebody?" And he was like, "What else am I going to do?" I'm like, "I don't know. Watch TV." I don't know.
Right?
Well, I'm doing that at the same time.
Whatever the rest of us do. Yeah. That dude was special. That chase, we lived in a small town. But that chase.
What was he on? Is he in a car? They chased him?
He was in a motorcycle.
A motorcycle.
They're
hard to catch.
Stephen Randolph. That's the other comic tonight.
What's up, Stephen?
Dark Shadows. But yeah. That was like, I lived in a small town, though. I remember shooting AKs that he got in the mail and put together.
Legal.
What's that?
Is that legal? Can you get an AK in the mail?
It wasn't automatic. It was semi. And I think you can still order them through the mail, just not put together. He used to order guns and put them together. We used to have a neighbor who had cars. Like,
was he a licensed firearm manufacturer by chance?
More of a hobbyist.
No.
I think you need an FTA.
So this is actually an important distinction. Now, like, someone will correct me if I'm wrong. But what?
And by the way, this was 30 years ago. I think I'm remembering this correctly.
Laws are looser now than they were 30 years ago. It's great. A little bit. One of my charges was that serial number thing. Remember? I think the Supreme Court just squashed the whole idea of serial numbers on firearms in the United States. If I understood their ruling correctly, there was a case that involved a man, a bad man, to be fair, a criminal, who had a weapon with the serial number carved off. And he was like, "Look, that's a bullshit law. Like, who are you to say it's my gun? I can take your fucking serial number off if I want to." And they went up to the Supreme Court and he won. I don't remember the nitty-gritty details about why, but that changes a lot of things. Before that ruling, that's a 10-year mandatory federal sentence for even fucking with that serial number, you know? And
but why wouldn't you be able to do that with a VIN number on a car then, if you can do it on a serial number with a gun? I don't think you can scratch out your VIN number, can you? On a car?
Not and drive down the road.
Yeah, I don't think so. But why would you be able to, if it's the same principle, right? I own this car. I'm not leasing it from the bank. This is my fucking car. You can't scratch out your VIN number. That is not okay.
Well, you can as long as you keep that car at home, right? And I'm going to keep my gun at home.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I won't be operating my firearm down any highways, so y'all don't have any jurisdiction on what do I do with it.
Yeah.
That's what I've always.
Agreed.
Zach
Yeah.
and I both Googled it. You're right, Josh. You can't scratch it off.
You can't
Yeah.
scratch off the VIN, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
on the cars, on the
On the
cars,
Right.
cars.
On the
and then
cars,
drive
yeah.
them. But if I've got it at home and I keep
Google
my
makes it
garage,
seem like you just can't scratch them
But-
off. I
But
don't know.
Kyle,
what is it
if
like
you-
that tag on a mattress?
I'm gonna scratch off the VINs. Of
I'm
my
gonna use
enemies.
that.
But Kyle, if you have a car that you don't take anywhere, is it a car?
You could off road with it, right? You could do things that
Yeah,
don't have
it's a
anything
car.
to do with the U.S. government and their set of roads and regulations. I could
That's
take
true.
that car and I could like off road in my pasture, or I wherever you want. That's private land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're not up to. Then it doesn't matter if it's street legal, right? You can put some big tires and loud exhausts and 2 engines on it if you want, whatever. But that's neither here nor there. I'm not trying to say it's right or wrong to carve the serial numbers off guns, because the Supreme Court already figured that one out for us. No
There
need
you
to
go.
think about it further.